Hello, my name is Sarah Mitchell and today is May 12, 2018.
Hello, Sarah. Thank you for letting me interview you regarding Erickson's psychosocial stages of development. The purpose of this interview is for you to demonstrate your understanding of the theory and how the theory applies to you and students you currently teach or plan to teach. Imagine I have never heard of Erickson's theory of psychosocial development. Briefly explain salient features of Erickson's theory of psychosocial development. What is the source of this information?
Erickson's theory of psychosocial development outlines development into 8 different stages. Slavin, 2018, relates Erickson's theories being called the psychosocial theory because it deals with principles of psychological and social development. After training under Freud, Erikson hypothesized his 8 psychosocial stages. Each stage has a crisis or a critical issue to be resolved. It is typical for most to resolve their issues, but if they don't, then that is where they must continue to deal with issues throughout their life. The stages are, first, trust versus mistrust, which is from birth to 18 months. Second stage is autonomy versus doubt, that is for 18 months to 3 years. Stage 3 is initiative versus guilt for 3-year-olds to 6-year-olds. Stage 4 is industry versus inferiority, 6 years old to 12-year-old. Stage 5, identity versus role confusion, 12 years old to 18 years old. Stage 6 is intimacy versus isolation, and that's for young adults. Stage 7, generativity versus self-absorption, mid-adulthood. And the final stage is integrity versus despair for late adulthoods. Again, all of this information was found in Slavin 2018.
At what stage of development do you see yourself now? Why do you think so?
I am in the stage of intimacy versus isolation. Being 24 years old, almost going to be 25 tomorrow, I know who I am and I am comfortable with myself. I also know where I'm going in life, and according to Erickson's theory, I'm in a place to share my life with another person. Go ahead.
Explain how being at this stage of development, this may influence your behavior and outlook in your classroom. On what do you base this explanation?
Being at this stage may influence my behavior and outlook in my classroom positively. I am happy with myself and I know that I want to be a teacher with my career. Therefore, I don't have to spend time thinking about myself personally and can cater to the needs of my students. I also have a partner who encourages me in my home life. Based off of how I feel about myself and Erickson's theory, I can state that I am in a good place to teach young students.
Identify at what level your students are likely to be in Erickson's stages.
I want to teach 2nd grade. Therefore, my students are likely to be in stage 4, which is industry versus inferiority.
Thank you. Explain how being at this stage of development, this may influence their behavior and outlook in your classroom. On what do you base this explanation?
During the industry versus inferior stage, children want to be successful and have a good feeling about their abilities. Based off the crisis portion of Erickson's psychosocial development theory, they may try very hard to produce success, but when failure comes, they will create an idea of negativity towards themselves.
Okay. What might be some disconnects between you and your students, keeping the differences in the two stages in mind?
Some disconnects may foster from our sense of self. I am comfortable with myself and I understand that failure does not define me. But on the other hand, my students are still learning that failure is a big portion of their life. So I, therefore, may play a very large role in helping students create a positive view of themselves.
Do you have any final comments?
I would just like to say that as educators, we have a very important role to play in helping children develop a good sense of self and a positive outlook on life.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Mitchell.
You're welcome.